I have to say the weather kind of reflects the mood on the news out of Colorado this morning. The news of the shooting at the movie theater, the midnight showing of The Dark Knight Rises in Colorado, in suburban Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, this happened in Aurora, just a few miles outside of Denver, Colorado. Happened shortly after midnight during that movie theater. That's when a gunman walked in and apparently just opened fire.
Details are still coming out. Lots of people injured. And George James is here to talk to us about what the gunman may have been thinking and what we should be talking to our family about. George, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You work with a lot of young men and adult men as well. My first thought is, first of all, what a terrible tragedy, but also, who's doing this? What kind of person is capable of doing this and why?
You know, unfortunately, the type of person who would do something like this is at the place where they think that's their only option, right? That whatever situation, they might be really overwhelmed. Usually what we've seen from past shootings is that it's some type of psychological disorder or issue that they might be dealing with. And they get to the place where they feel like the only way they can deal with their situation, their life, their problems is unfortunately to kind of end other people's lives. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if there might be even some thought about maybe trying to end his own life at some point as well.
Well, he's in custody right now. That's what police have said. So in a lot of different circumstances in history, you know, sometimes the gunman shoots himself. So this time we're actually going to be able to hopefully find out more details about what was happening inside of his head.
Right. Yeah, that definitely would be helpful. I mean, there could be lots of things, from anger, from depression, from just other parts of where he could be dealing with a lot of different serious illnesses where he feels like, once again, his only option was to hurt other people.
So with all of this on the news, because it's been, I mean, since 6 o'clock this morning all over every channel, especially here on NBC 10, we covered it all morning long. Do you take this opportunity to sit your children down if you have young kids and talk to them about something like this, or is it best that they're shielded, of course, depending on their age?
Right, yeah, I think there's messages you can give your children on many levels. So if you have really young children, you can talk about safety, right? How you pick friends, strangers, all those conversations. As you get older children, you can talk about, well, what's appropriate ways to deal with problems and situations? What happens when you feel overwhelmed and not knowing what to do? Or once again, how do you make good decisions about the people you surround yourself and the places that you go, so that hopefully you can be in a safe arena.
Now, are there warning signs you should look for in people that you know or people you're related to? Something that this man's family or friends or neighbors might have recognized ahead of time?
Yes. Once again, what we've seen from other shootings is that sometimes the person will get to the place where they'll give some signs, right? Well, they'll say, well, you know what, I feel like, you know, maybe not living any longer, or I can't take this anymore. And what you'll see with that additionally is that they might have some level of mental illness, right? So for instance, if it's depression, they're not really sleeping, their eating habits have changed, they feel really low and hopeless, and they talk about death, right? And so someone might be at that place and there's another trigger, an event that happens that pushes them over the limit, and the only option they feel is to hurt someone else, and then most likely sometimes hurt themselves.
Every day there are murders in this country, and in Philadelphia we're approaching the 200 murder mark just this year alone. Are the people in that situation, do they also feel like they're out of options, do you think?
You know, just from some of my work that I've done with, you know, young men, and even some of the young men here in Philadelphia, is that, yeah, I've seen that, where they feel like the options they've seen to deal with conflict, to deal with struggle, or just overwhelming problems is violence, or it's through another shooting. Is that someone I know was shot, and that's the only way that I know, or that I feel like that's the best option. And so sometimes it's being able to help people realize there are other ways to problem solve, right? Especially now when we're talking about mass shootings, we see that once again, people don't realize there's other things they can do to take care of themselves or take care of the issue that they might be dealing with.
So if you recognize that in someone else, what should you do?
You know, if you really feel like somebody's of immediate danger, you call 911, you call the cops, you find some way to take care of the situation as soon as possible. If you feel like someone is talking about it, you might want to ask them to get some help, whether it's to go counseling or whether it's to get to the places where they could actually be in crisis and they need to get the situation dealt with immediately, so that they can hopefully maybe be taken care of, maybe be helped, and maybe hopefully find additional resources and solutions to their problems.
Some words of wisdom. George James from the Council for Relationships, thanks so much for stopping by.
Good words on a very sad day.